What is it we are meant not to forget today? Certainly, it starts simply, with 3,000 lives cut tragically short. 3,000 mothers, fathers, sons, and sisters executed all for the unwitting crime of going to work. Some without realizing, guilty only of having the wrong office, but some by choice. Heroes climbing stairs to hell, worried only about how many souls they could pull out before the diabolical gates closed around them. Above all else, what I want to remember today is bravery. The bravery of rushing into a flame-filled citadel. The bravery of enlisting to stand up against the devils who just attacked you. The bravery of storming a captured cockpit armed with nothing more than the pure, burning knowledge of what is right. The bravery of picking up a phone to call the person you love most in the world and say goodbye and I love you. Let's remember that love too. Not only the love which possessed the heroes of our story to save hundreds, if not thousands of lives, but the love we all shared, shaken and unsure of our safety, in living rooms, break rooms, and classrooms all around the country, and indeed the earth. That molten, mantle-deep love that can only be felt in the face of loss, exploding with intensity brought on by an entire world crashing in around it. The love we were reminded needs sometimes to be expressed, to be shared, as we looked into the eyes of our most valued companions and imagined the misery that might have been had chance taken them that day instead. Third, I want to remember the unique spirit animating every person who died that day. And here, instead of writing weak and fruitless words, I ask for a moment of silence, so that we may all remember those we lost and spend one more moment with them in our hearts and our minds. These things are the best of America. Bravery, love, individuality. But when I remember September 11th, I can't help but think about the worst of America as well. Let us not forget the fear and the frenzy of that day. For the first time in nearly 200 years, we witnessed a foreign attack on American soil, and it terrified us. It shook the foundations of our sanity, dashing that certainty of security which we believed was our birthright. And we did not react well. We let laws be passed which stripped us of the very liberties they claimed to protect. We terrorized innocent Muslim men and women in the streets and in their homes. We swallowed lies and invaded a country with no connection to the attacks in question. And we let our justice system be perverted in the name of vengeance, the very vice justice was invented to contain. There has not been and never will be justice for the attacks of September 11th. We broke down the doors of the man we believed to be responsible and shot him in the head. He will never stand trial, and because of that, he won. He taunted us off the moral high ground we still somewhat clung to and lured us into the thicket of murder and terror which he called home. We can't forget that either. Last night, our president declared his intention to attack the even more terrible descendants of Al-Qaeda, a gang we can't deny we had a role in creating. The chaos, destruction, and violence we brought into their homeland only made the ground more fertile for their fervent hatreds. They are evil and need to be stopped, but we must never forget that it was that same logic which created them in the first place. And that's why, above all else today, I want to remember bravery, love, and individuality. It's easy to respond to fear with violence and rage, but it takes a deep bravery to respond with measured authority. It's easy to fight terror with hatred, but that response is self-defeating unless it's coupled with love for those living under the terrorists' thumbs, those who struggle each day to avoid joining them and definitely do not need a push. It is easy to get swept up in a nationwide frenzy of fear and anger, but we must always remember who we are and what we believe, and that every one of us has the power and indeed the obligation to stand up for what we know to be right. So that's what I choose to remember today. The best, but also the worst. What we lost, but also what we gave up. And most importantly, that this is our world, and we choose what we make it. Thank you. And may you all find the bravery and love that I know is inside you. Good night.